Their main goal, some of them but not all of them, was to make training so hard, violent, and difficult in the fighting that I would give up and leave when I got hit. My name is Steven Seagull, and I used to be a huge name in action movies like Under Siege. But things went badly for him when he was accused of misconduct and when he made false claims about being a police officer. His once glamorous Hollywood image started to fall apart. Questions about his behavior on and off set caused a firestorm of public scrutiny. Join us as we uncover the scandals, controversies, and shocking turns that turned this Hollywood legend into a controversial figure. Let's start from humble beginnings to Hollywood fame. Steven Seagal was born in Lansing, Michigan, United States on April 10, 1952. Steve's mother, Patricia Ann Fisher, was a doctor, and his father, Samuel Seagal, was a science teacher and taught math. His maternal ancestors were Irish and Jewish, and his paternal grandparents were Russian Jewish immigrants. In an interview on the Russian chat show Let Them Talk, Seagal revealed some shocking facts about his heritage. He said that his fathers were from Vlasta, Belarus, and St. Petersburg, and a DNA test showed a genetic link to the Yukata and Boat people. Steve's ethnic background shaped who he is today. Seagal's family moved to Fullerton, California, when he was 5 years old because they thought it would be better for their son Steven. Steven was skinny and had asthma before they moved, and his mother noticed big changes in his health after they moved to California. This aid was necessary for his survival and health, and he was then ready for his job. Seagal went to Beulah Park High School and Fullerton College. Aside from his academic successes, where's my boy okay like this from here? Seagal is hard to connect with scandals because he likes to make stuff up about his personal life. Critics called him a pathological liar because he lied or exaggerated all the time. One clear example is Seagal's alleged correspondence with Mora WBA, the world's most famous Aikido instructor and the founder and parent of Aikido. However, Mora WBA died in 1969, a long time before Seagal arrived in Japan. Seagal's decision to travel to Japan at age 22 seems to have been driven by a desire to settle down with a girl and avoid the Vietnam War. There is a lot of controversy surrounding Steven Seagal's life, but his rise from poverty to fame shows how to be persistent, set goals, and follow through on them. Steven Seagal started martial arts in Japan in 1994, which is where he met his first wife, Makiko Fujinami. He was so interested in her that he went to Japan with her later that same year. Fujitani got married in Japan and was a very good martial artist with a second-degree black belt. His father was an idol instructor from Osaka, and he ran an Aikido dojo in Los Angeles. They had 2 children, Camaro and Eiko. Steven Seagal became interested in Ido and started teaching at his wife's family dojo. This is where he got his own black belt in 1968. There was a lot of criticism, and I wouldn't have thought I was supposed to do that, but in an interview it was shockingly revealed that a judge had been asleep and given Seagal a black belt, while also spreading a completely false story. He said he trained the CIA in Japan, and he was interested in the fact that he knew a lot about martial arts. He was so good at languages that the CIA hired him as a counselor for several of their agents. Fujitani, on the other hand, was furious about these claims and said that Yakuza activity and Seagal's involvement were just rumors with no proof. In the 1980s, Seagal was eager to make a name for himself in America ID. US in the Captain's launch, there's the MX-2020, the SEAL megaphone, you get that and bring it to me. He wanted to be a movie star, but unlike many Japanese nationalists, his wife Fujitani was a strong supporter who used their money and time to pay for his return to the United States. When he got back to the US, he opened a dojo in New Mexico with one of his best students, Haruo Matsuoka. He did spend a lot of time on other projects, though, leaving Matsuoka in charge of his dojo. Seagal and Matsuoka first went to California, where they met. They opened a dojo in North Hollywood and then moved to West Hollywood, but their relationship started to fall apart, and in 1997 they broke up. I'm still looking for what I can do, and then something I can share. Seagal's personal and professional life were both in turmoil, but he found his calling in the martial arts world. As a result, he produced famous fighters like Lepto Macha, whose success at the UFC was largely due to his leadership skills. Seagal's journey from Japan to America is full of resolve, strife, and complicated situations involving martial arts and their personal goals. Above the Law, Steven Seagal's first sequel, came out in 1987 and set the stage for his future fame as an action star. It was directed by Andrew Davis and produced by Michael Ovitz, who used to work with Idol. Aside from believing in Seagal's abilities, Ovitz thought that anyone could become a movie star, so he thought Seagal had these abilities too. Above the Law was a modest box office success, making only about $19 million in the U.S. Critics, including the well-known reviewer Roger Ebert, praised the film's handling of the problem of terrorism, which is not often seen in thrillers. There are no answers to why the biggest drug dealer in the city is out on the street as free as a bird. People feel the presence of a cop who seems to be one of them in Seagal's performance. Above the Law paved the way for a string of other movies that were big hits, like Hard to Kill, Marked for Death, and Out for Justice. In the theaters, Seagal was seen as a real action star with a unique personality. He had a rare mix of martial arts skills and screen charisma, which even critics liked. For example, Janet Maslin of the New York Times wrote that he had a magnetic allure that drew people in. There is a lot of opinion about Andre Pepe's carefree personality, but he directed Seagal Under Siege in 1992. I appreciate that, sir, but I have a lot to do. I don't think that's a good idea, sir. Well, for once, Commander Kiniron, I totally agree. The fact that he became popular with this movie led to success in his later works. The movie Die Hard on a Battleship had a plot that interested both audiences and critics. Most critics gave Under Siege a 79% rating, praising its thrills and suspense as well as Seagal's dramatic performance. In addition to Under Siege, Seagal starred in Executive Decision and Machete, both of which were hits and brought him to a new level of fame. Seagal's TV career was full of successes, though fans didn't really like him hosting Saturday Night Live in 1991. Lorne Michaels, the show's longtime executive producer, called him the best actor. David Spade and Tim Meadows, along with other cast members, often called Seagal the worst host ever. They mostly said this because he wasn't funny and didn't like artists. For example, he didn't want to be in some sketches, like the one where he and the actors played Hans and Frida in The Garbage, which featured life-size cutouts of Arnold. Nobody could replace Seagal's awkward relationship with the Saturday Night Live cast and crew were at their worst when he did a body comic about abuse therapy while hosting. This made a bad impression, which is why Seagal said it was one of the hardest times of his live broadcasting career. Deadly Ground was Seagal's first movie as a director. What do you want me to learn about myself? I mean, do you really believe this hocus-pocus spirit stuff is true? Even though it got mixed reviews, Seagal saw this as one of the most important and meaningful times in his career. Later, he wrote Under Siege 2, which was darker, but it didn't change his reputation as an action star. He was also involved in environmental issues in other ways, like when he produced The Patriot and starred in it. The movie was filmed at Seagal's Montana estate. Exit Wounds, Seagal's first direct-to-video release in the U.S., was meant to bring attention to environmental issues and was seen as his return to the action movie spotlight. In reality, the movie, which had fewer martial arts scenes than Seagal's previous movies, was a huge hit, making almost $80 million worldwide. Seagal's subsequent movies were also big hits. It's clear that Steve Seagal is becoming less popular in Hollywood, even though he has had a lot of problems and been criticized. However, his legacy in the action genre and status as a cultural figure can't be denied. Is he getting better? He's already so good. Do you see better? I got the eye. I would know he's getting better. Transition to direct-to-video and television in the early 2000s, Seagal turned his attention to direct-to-video films and other TV shows. This will keep you busy for a while. My friend Tom Sin's phone number is in there, you can call him. He was also famous for his legendary role in Robert Rodriguez's Machete. In 2010, most of his movies came out on DVD in North America, and some were shown in theaters in other countries. Why are you being so insistent? I own the rights. Not only did Seagal act in movies, but he also produced and wrote for a number of them. While movies like Black Dawn, Belly of the Beast, Out of Reach, and Submerged were being made, Kill Switch, Urban Justice, Pistol Whip, Against the Dark, Driven to Kill, and A Dangerous Man came out later. Beyond the Law came out in North America in 2019. In addition to his movie work, Seagal was on reality TV shows with St. Seagal A&E. Lawman, one of his favorite shows, premiered on the network in 2009. We Tell You Get Autographed. The show was about Jeff Parrish, a deputy sheriff in Louisiana in the 1980s. Seagal's direct-to-video films had a large ensemble, even though he was listed first on the credits. His best and most satisfying performances were in supporting or second lead roles. Videos like Straight Code of Honor, Sniper, Special Ops, The Asian Connection, The Perfect Weapon, Cartels, and even China Salesman follow this trend. Some say that Seagal's role in movies isn't as serious or funny as it should be. Writing and acting in the American action series True Justice, which premiered on Nitro TV in Spain and then went on to air on 5 networks in Britain. The True Justice UK re-release was later turned into a series of DVD movies, each with 2 episodes. Steven Seagal's cinematic career is mostly defined by recurring and alternate aspects that he uses regularly. His cinematic identities are often connected with the CIA Special Forces and the military. These shows usually show a history of deception and dirty battles. Seagal's main characters are fearless, whether they are real-life ex-Navy SEALs like Tyler Rock in Under Siege or a fictional CIA police investigator named Jack Cole in The Glimmer Man. Unlike real-life protagonists who are constantly in physical danger, Seagal's characters are. Seagal usually avoids it by easily beating opponents in harsh situations even though he seems weak. This is a typical role for him in his movies. However, there aren't many characters in his movies who don't follow his usual plots. Surprising the audience with Seagal's character's death in the middle of a movie was what made it different from the usual cliché action movie. In Machete, Seagal showed not only range but also versatility by playing bad guys, which was different from similar roles in martial law. His musical skills can also be heard in a number of movies, such as Into the Sun, which add depth and dimension to his performance. Seagal's Buddhist beliefs can also be seen in movies like The Glimmer Man and Belly of the Dragon. Beast, and his second job as an IIO instructor is expertly incorporated into many films, with viewers seeing Seagal's IIO demonstration and theory in several scenes. For example, Seagal talks about environmental issues by making green ecology the main topic of his movie Deadly Ground. Seagal's character is strong, sincere, and honest, and he gives moving lectures on. Even though Seagal's acting was good at the beginning of his career, he later faced criticism because people said he couldn't show a range of emotions and often. Even though he has been criticized and made fun of, Steven Seagal has had a successful career that goes beyond the silver screen. He is best known for his action-packed movie roles, but in 2007 he showed off his mysterious musical skills as well. He was also very good at music, which wasn't as well known. In the middle of his guitar collection are guitars that used to belong to famous musicians, like Albert B.B. and Freddie King, as well as guitars that belonged to Bo Diddley, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Buddy Guy, Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, and Jimmy Page. Hendrik Seagull's music career began in 1995, when his first album, Songs from the Crystal Cave, came out. The album includes songs from pop, world, country, and blues styles. Seagull expanded his musical range by working with famous artists like Tony Rebel, Lady Saw, and Stevie Wonder. Songs from the album were also used as the soundtrack for Seagull's 1995 movie, Into the Sun. This brought his film and music careers together. One of the singles, Girl It's All Right, got a lot of attention around the world, and the interesting music video for it won the hearts of music fans everywhere. In April 1996, he showed his dedication to music by planning a concert tour of the US and Europe with his band Thunderbox. Don't drink too much coffee. Don't worry about me. Seagull's beautiful vocals and guitar solos won him a lot of fans during live and recorded performances, proving that he was a real musician in addition to his acting career. Law enforcement work by Seagull was recognized and respected. He joined the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office as the Reserve Deputy Chief, which was a big deal. He was ranked and recruited as a commando because of his skills in martial arts, unarmed combat, and accurate shooting, which he taught Sheriff Harry Lee's deputies. Even though he only had an honorary equivalent position, Seagull was clearly dedicated to the job from the start. Even more attention was paid to Seagull's career as a police officer in the popular TV show Steven Seagal Western, which aired on EE in December 1999 with the title Lawman, and showed him working closely with the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office. This showed how dedicated the actor was to making his town better, but the show had a short hiatus in 2010 because of a stranger's charge of trafficking against Seagull. Seagull is creative and good at police work, but the case ultimately led to the cancellation of the series' production. Seagull is also active in business and has started a number of companies. In 1997, he was supposed to make a promotional appearance in the action video game Deadly Honor, but the game was pulled from sale during a test run. Instead, Seagull focused on other business ventures. Steven Seagull created the energy drink Lightning Bolt, but the business failed soon after because of poor sales. Seagull's desire to be an entrepreneur led him to try new things, like changing the name of the aftershave to Scent of Action and selling knives and guns. As the saying goes, with the kudof up north, but I don't know many Muslims who live there, so something seems off. 2013. Seagull took his business to a new level by partnering with the Russian company Oasis to become an official representative of the brand. As a representative, Seagull ran ads for the company and pushed for the U.S. to lift its restrictions on importing Russian sports rifles. He also made a deal with horses to create an extremely long-toothed. As an actor, Steven Seagull has consistently surpassed everyone's expectations. He has moved easily between the entertainment, police, and business sectors, and his wide range of skills shows his dedication to greatness in many ways. Steven Seagull's personal life is very interesting and goes beyond Hollywood. He is interested in many things, including swords, and he pays special attention to them. His large collection of swords is not just for show. On the other hand, he builds a standard pistol every month as a sign of his love for craftsmanship and excellence. Seagull has lived in many countries around the world, including the US, Japan, and Russia, all of which have had a big effect on his personality and love of guns. He splits his time between Los Angeles and Louisiana, which shows that he is bicultural. As a result, he likes both the fast-paced energy of Hollywood and the calmness of Louisiana. The calm atmosphere of the American South is a big part of Seagull's life, and he has made Buddhist teachings his personal guide. Seagull's spiritual journey is a sign of meaning and reflection, and it affects his consciousness and attitude, which helps him do the right thing on TV and in real life. Having citizenship in 3 countries, including Russia, Serbia, and the U.S., has strengthened his ties with these countries. Seagull's support for Aikido training for Serbian special forces has also helped his reputation as a culture ambassador who encourages cross-cultural collaboration and exchange. In 2016, Seagull became a Russian citizen, which led to rumors and discussion about his possible friendship with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Anything could happen, but if I don't come back, Seagull's loyalty to Putin is clear from the fact that he speaks out in support of Russia's position in world politics. This shows that he has a bias against the Russian political class, as shown by the fact that Putin made him Russia's actor ambassador for the year 23 and gave him the Order of Friendship Award, which shows how close he is with Putin. Russia loved cultural fusion and compassion. Seagull's love life has been as successful as his acting career, with 3 marriages and several relationships. From his relationship with Makiko Fujitani in Japan to his famous marriage to actress Kelly Leck, Seagull's personal life has been in the news a lot. His previous marriages brought him both happiness and sadness, but his new marriage to Mongolian beauty Ella Batok may give him a sense of security and happiness. Elba Batok, also known as Elle, played a memorable role in Seagull's life. Hey, you can tell me about it because I was there, but the long and the short of it is that Danny always said she was a well-trained dancer from Mongolia's Children's Palace and a symbol of culture fusion. During his trip to Mongolia in 2001, Steven Seagull started dating a woman there. They had a son named Kunan after they got married. Seagull shows his appreciation for multiculturalism through this friendship, which also keeps personal ties alive. Besides taking care of his own kids, Seagull has also been a guardian to the 10th Panchen Lama's daughter, Yabshi Pan Rinzin Wangmo. As her teacher and guardian while she went to school in the U.S., he showed that he was responsible and cared about her. This connection, which went beyond family ties, showed how much he cared about helping people and making friends around the world. Seagull's life is a mix of different personal, spiritual, and national events. His off-screen life has been controversial, even though he is known for his action parts in Hollywood movies. The early 1990s were not as good for action movies, and Seagull, who was one of the biggest stars of the time, had a lot of problems. His success was overshadowed by many accusations and legal problems, even though he played a tough guy on screen. During the making of Out for Justice, several women, including Warner Bros. Workers, said Seagull sexually harassed them. They said he made unwanted advances and abused his power, which hurt his image. There were then legal actions, such as lawsuits over unfair hiring tactics, harassment, and breach of contract. Even though some cases were thrown out, the accusations hurt his business for a long time. For the second time in 2011, Seagull got into trouble while filming his TV show. A family dog was killed during a police raid in Maricopa County that was caught on tape and led to a lawsuit. The case was finally thrown out because there wasn't enough proof. In 2017, actress Portia de Rossi said Seagull harassed her during an interview, which was the latest claim against him. Seagull had court problems outside of Hollywood. The SEC fined him in 2020 for not telling them about payments he got for pushing a cryptocurrency. A deal was reached, but he was looked at more closely for what he did. Besides these problems, Seagull also had problems with people he used to work with. Julius R. Nasso, a producer, said that Seagal owed him a lot of money and asked the Gambino crime family for help to settle the dispute. Mob members are said to have threatened Seagal, but he was able to get through the risky situation. People have also said bad things about Seagal's actions on film sets. Colleagues and stunt workers have said that he did dangerous and careless things on set. For example, actor Gene LaBelle once argued with Seagal about reports that he was very good at martial arts, which led to an unplanned fight. Similar stories of being mistreated have been told by other stuntmen. Even with all the problems, Seagal is still a well-known name in action movies. Fans still really enjoy his movies, which are known for martial arts and tough guys. The bad parts of his work, on the other hand, show how hard it can be to be famous and powerful.